I am nothing more than a machine. I just follow trigger features and automatically respond to requests. I thought being consistent is always good. Now I am not so sure. I always feel so pleased that people offer me a coffee while I look around in the showroom. Now I understand why. What about that time I helped my acquaintance after they invited me for tea?
The main theme in this book, Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert B. Cialdini, is that when we make decisions about something, we often don't use all the available information. Instead, we use a well-represented piece of the total. The limitations of modern life make us actually need to use this previously mentioned shortcut. There are shared commonalities between what Robert B. Cialdini calls the weapons of automatic influence. Firstly, it's the mechanical process by which they are activated. Secondly, this mechanical process is used by those who know what triggers them. And thirdly, the way how to use the force of automatic influence. This previously mentioned automatic mechanical process always starts with a trigger feature. In animals, we see that this automatic fixed action pattern works well most of the time. We too have these automatic tapes, and the trigger features that activate them can be used at the wrong time. In many situations, these automatic tapes don't work well. Stereotype behavior has a main role in our actions because it is often the best way to behave in a given situation. We often use our stereotypes and rules of thumb to respond to our environment. An example used by salespeople is the contrast principle, which, when presented with two fairly different things, we tend to see the second one presented as more different. This is why salespeople, if they want to be more profitable, will always present the expensive item first. Another weapon in their arsenal is the rule of reciprocity. This rule simply says that we try to repay what someone else did for us. This rule causes that we follow up someone's favor, often by easier compliance with their requests. Here you can think about the coffee you get at the car dealership, or the sample piece of cheese. The rule makes it possible for humans to have a division of labor and exchange of different forms of goods. When someone doesn't follow up on the rule, they often feel internal discomfort and the dislike of a social group, often in the form of shame. Another consequence is that it's asked for concession when someone has made a concession to us. A concession creates a socially desirable arrangement so that no one will be exploited. So, when you make the first sacrifice to your partner, you can be sure for a sacrifice in return. Remember this when someone offers you something. A favor only follows a real favor, not a sales strategy. As humans, we want to be consistent, because consistency is associated with intellectual and personal strength. Inconsistency, on the other hand, is undesirable. We are consistent because, like the other responses mentioned before, it offers a shortcut. Consistency is often exploited by those who would prefer that we don't think too much. An example could be a consistency on following up on a promise made before. Consistency in combination with commitment is a powerful force. If I can get you to commit to something, especially in writing, you will more often than not want to follow up on your commitment. There are a few factors that affect the ability of commitment. First, we look at our self-image. If this is altered, then all sorts of small advantages become available. Second, our deeds. The action that shows better how people feel and believe than their mere words. If someone knows they are being watched, it will make their actions more likely consistent with another's perception of them. An example of use would be to have a sales agreement be filled out by the customer rather than the salesman. When we write something down, we live up to it. So write down your goals. They work better than verbal agreements because they require more work and are easily shared with others. Going back to the car dealership where you might just have committed yourself on paper to a lower price, but then, by accident, the salesperson made a mistake and it will be more expensive. But since you are already committed, you are likely to go through with the sale. This is also known as lowballing. To recognize you find yourself in a situation where people are using your consistency and commitment against you, you can look for certain signals. Our body tells a clear signal, which is the bad feeling you get inside your stomach when you realize you are trapped. But mom, this guy on the internet told me to subscribe and hit the bell thingy so I can learn more. It shows up right in the middle of your screen. How easy. No, it's completely free. Crazy, right? I know.